Welcome back to the Big Boys Podcast. Join us this week as we turn up the heat. Red Heat, that is. The underrated action classic starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jim Belushi. Hope it doesn't get too hot for you in this episode of Big Boys.
Prepare to be mesmerized and or mortified.
Well, what's happening there?
Old Sorrel's here had himself a nap.
You son of a...
Yeah, clever. Kind of soft and only like in one ear.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
Look at those boys, ain't they big?
Big Boys with Brian Hickey and John the Great. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another beautiful, fantastic episode of the Big Boys Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Hickey. With me, as always, is my cohort in all things podcasting, the man, the myth, the legend, finally wearing a set of headphones, Sir John the Great.
Hey.
John, what's new with you? What's new with your junk?
Well, the most new thing, and I guess it's not brand new, we were discussing this previously, is I've been getting into Charles Bronson impersonations. I don't know, I guess because I recently watched Death Wish and Death Wish 2, and the remake with Bruce Willis.
Oh, really?
But that's another thing for another point. And I just so happened to see one of Jim Carrey doing Charles Bronson back in Living Color. And it was hilarious, you know, especially because, his
he does a
face
great
is
one,
made of, rubber. So he literally becomes Charles Bronson. And that makes up for anything his voice lacks, which his voice was good enough. You got who it was, but his face was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely Charles Bronson. Like that could be his ID photo.
He does, maybe it's actually Dirty Harry he does as Clint Eastwood, and what is it?
He does
Bruce
Clint
Almighty?
Eastwood.
Does he not do Charles Bronson as well? I can't remember. I definitely have seen him do as Charles Bronson, and it's like, oh, that is...
No, he does. He does Bronson. Yeah. Or get my camera adjusted here. He does a ton of them. Like if you watch his old stand-up, he does a bunch.
Maybe
of
that's what it was.
Yeah, like some of it's not really all that relevant anymore, like James Dean and some of them. But
you mean the things he was doing 30 years ago aren't relevant to today?
I mean, they were barely relevant then, considering James Dean was big in like the late 50s. But
yeah, but actually, I would argue that James Dean is timeless. I mean, as long as that fucking painting exists of him, whatever the diner with James Dean, Marilyn Monroe.
That's
a Kennedy's in there, I think.
Everybody has a copy of that one. I can't remember the name of that painting, but yeah.
Yeah, it's usually that painting, and then offset by the dogs playing poker, just to kind of balance the room out. You know, something.
Well, that's the
really
difference.
Sad of all the people that died too early, and then dogs playing poker. So what fun! Speaking of dogs playing poker,
I hear that. Yeah,
stupid dog in the background.
One of them must be losing.
I'm doing. Yeah, exactly. Must have went all in and lost his hand.
Yeah.
I'm just giving into it, man. Like I'm keeping my window open because I know last time I recorded I had to kind of dip out early because, well, one, I was getting over being sick, but then also like this room gets unbearably hot without any fans or windows open. So I'm meeting halfway, no fans on, so you can't hear that. But you're going to hear some dog yapping in the background, even though supposedly no pets are allowed on this premises. So,
yeah, but I mean, everybody always fudges that stuff. Especially in this day and age, you've got the emotional support animal. Which, not dogging anybody that really needs it. And I'm all for avoiding... What's that?
Is it pun intended?
Actually, no. I'm glad you caught that. All right. Yeah. I get it. Some people may really need it, and for the rest of us, I'm all for avoiding your pet deposit and pet fees. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But at the same Yeah, I feel like people that they use that to get around like too many rules. Like you said, there's no pets allowed. Oh, it's an emotional support animal. Like,
Yeah.
And the one that bothers me there's
I'm
no
not even
pets
dogging the person. Yeah. I'm not even dogging the people that have a dog over here because I don't know. They might actually be the property managers for all I know.
Yeah.
But what I guess I'm really actually dogging is the lack of air conditioning.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm not all that surprised. There's some people, they're part of our trivia team. Now, they're a bit older. They're probably closer to our parents' age. They lived in California. Now, it's been a lot of years ago. But they were talking about when they lived out there, their house didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah, which it's fine if you have a window open, but it's not like, I'm in, I'm not going to say the exact neighborhood, but it's Los Angeles. There's very few neighborhoods out here that don't sound busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not when you keep your window open. It's all the sweet, serene sounds of nature outside, wafting into your bedroom. No. It's all sorts of madness, and it's.
I'm not surprised. I mean, where I'm at's not near as big as Los Angeles, and I feel like there's always noise going on outside, some commotion.
Yeah. All right. Well, so before we start drifting too far, what motivated you to check out Death Wishes?
I think one night I was just browsing and was like, "Oh, Death Wish! I've never watched that. Charles Bronson's classic. I should watch that." So I did. And then a few years ago they made a remake, and so that got me interested. I was like, "Oh, let's watch the Bruce Willis remake, compare them." And then, of course, then you end up watching Death Wish 2. We'll see. Eventually, I'll probably go down the rabbit hole for Death Wish like 3, 4, 5. But I know they really start going off the rails, like Uh-oh, we may have frozen. Stand by, everyone. I don't know which one of us is recording. Because, actually, I want to frame this photo. Oh, man, too bad. I'm going to take a picture with my phone.
Are you hearing me?
No, I was talking the whole time because I don't know which one of us.
Yeah, I know.
Which one of our
clearly
voices?
Me.
Okay. Yeah.
It's clearly me. Spoiler alert, my internet is shit. So
I wanted to have a little something to fill the dead space, so I had running commentary going.
Well, I think it's gonna have me trying to talk over your running commentary.
Oh, because that's the one thing being captured is the audio, and so we're both just talking in a mess.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know, I'm not in the playback, but like, even though I am the one cutting out, I'm also the one who record button, so it's actually I don't know because it's recording to a server and then I'm downloading it. So time will tell. Anyways, so you
surprise viewers.
You got motivated to watch. Yeah, you got motivated to watch Death Wish, which eventually, having our way, I'll eventually become the woke Death Wisher. Was the pun I was making, I guess, when I froze. But all that's aside. We're not reviewing Death Wish, which eventually we're gonna have to.
We have an even better movie coming.
God damn. It's much like when I find myself trapped in this room with no fans or air conditioning and windows closed. I find myself turning red with heat. You know what I mean?
I do know. I know exactly what you mean.
Much like our protagonist, Danko, in our film that we're reviewing here, Red Heat. He in the first scene, it looks hot as balls. Stones or on fire.
Was that a prison?
Or in a sauna?
Or was that just like a Russian bathhouse?
I guess it was supposed to be a Russian bathhouse, but it was like, it looked like it took place in a fucking cave.
Because at first, I thought, oh, okay, this is like a Russian prison, but then there were like naked women and that and stuff. Yeah. And I was kind of like, man, this prison's awesome. Yeah.
This prison's Can I go to prison? Go to Russian prison.
Yeah,
I think is what we learned there.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, it was wild, man. I couldn't grasp much of anything in that first scene because, I guess the way that it's shot, like the guy who you find out and in the next scene or whatever is his partner in I guess is it still dude, watching this movie made me realize like I don't know shit about Russian politics or government. Is it because this is I want to say shortly after the fall of the Berlin Wall, right?
It's before the fall.
Oh, is it? When
the Berlin Wall I don't think fell till like 89 or 90 and this movie came out in 88.
But I thought
that's why when he spoilers at the end when they trade watches, he said, "Oh, this is a $20 East German watch because the wall, like, it's still divided by the Berlin Wall."
Oh, see, I don't know things. I do not know things. But I went off on a whole tangent there. But yeah, you get confused because like the way that it's like captured with his partner wandering around, his partner in the bath cave, the sauna. Prison. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Did you not get the impression that like, oh, this must be the antagonist. This must be the guy that Schwarzenegger is like trying to find.
I'm not even sure I noticed that was the same guy, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was kind of like, oh, I guess like Schwarzenegger's like under like playing a double agent maybe in this movie. Like, he's part of the Russian government. But, yeah, exactly. Like, but he also secretly works with the American. Nope. None of that. It's a vendetta film that relies very. It almost forgets about like the fact that it's a vendetta film. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He hardly mentions. I don't even know if he mentions his partner being dead when he makes his way to America. It's almost like he never existed by the time he got there.
Yeah, he doesn't really mention it a whole lot. The only thing he's just focused on catching Victor.
Exactly. Yeah. So it just. Obviously this is like the leaning in heavily into the buddy cop drama trope or whatever, the two opposites,
yeah,
or as far as like the Grand Theft Auto Vice City best fake commercial ever is the yuppie and the alien, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's essentially what that just reeked of this to me. You got Jim, not John Belushi, who's just cynical. Not Jim. He's still alive.
Yeah, but John. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a cynical Chicago cop, and then Mr. I guess played by the Russian rules, which are from the context of this film, no rules at all.
Yeah.
By the book, Russian cop with a heavy Austrian accent, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was just as jarring for me to watch him try to do like play a Russian as it is for him just being like, oh yes, I'm John Smith from Arkansas or wherever. It's just as jarring as like because he's first and foremost he's such an iconic figure in the culture, like him, and he doesn't do like it kind of seemed like at some point he was trying to like drift into a Russian accent, almost kind of like just a generic white guy putting an inye on everything with an R that says I'm speaking Spanish.
But I was actually impressed with this. I mean, granted, obviously I'm not an authority on the Russian language, but like, I mean, there was quite a few segments of him actually speaking Russian and
No.
I was kind of impressed. Like it certainly could have been worse. Like,
Of course, like, well, that's not what I'm saying. It's not the fact that, like, I believe that he's speaking Russian. I believe I don't know anything about it, but I would even go as far as to believe he knows how, like, he is fluent in Russian. Like, he's such an intelligent guy. That's not what we're saying here, but, like, his accent, is still heavily Austrian,
Yes. I was thinking about that while watching it. And the only thing I can really think is it was the 80s. Number one, nobody cared. And two, like, it was pre-internet generation. Like, that information I don't think was just right at everybody's fingertips like it is now to look up and be like, what do Russians sound like? Like, you can Google it in the palm of your hands nowadays before you even leave the theater. Whereas back then, maybe if you were somebody who kept up with the news, you saw stuff, because it's still Cold War, so maybe you saw some stuff with Russians, but back then all you knew was, hey, we have this stern-looking guy with a goofy accent. That's a Russian. Like,
sure, except there were movies before this that, like, even from the American conception of what Russian sounds like has been made beforehand. Like when I saw this, I was like, oh, why didn't they just? I mean, obviously, I know the answer to the question is, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a bigger draw, but why wouldn't they get Dolph Lundgren to play this Russian?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. Yeah, they had already had on-screen, quote-unquote, Russians before, so.
Yeah, which, I mean, Lundgren, isn't he, like, Swedish or something?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so, I mean, who knows? Like, just our American perception of what a Russian sounds like might even be jaded and skewed. But, like, also, for what you're saying is, like, oh, nobody really knows what he sounds like. Lundgren's one, example of we kind of do, or at least what our American take on what a Russian sounds like is. But also, like, every other Russian character in this movie sounds a hell of a lot more Russian than Schwarzenegger does.
That's true. That's true. Like the main villain. Of course, he mentions being... So, well, and that's another thing, too. Of course, now we're really getting into a conversation about language development. But you got to think, at this time, it wasn't just Russia. It was the Soviet Union. So that's going to be all the other now independent countries that were part of that. Like, I'm okay. I thought I froze up for a second, but
you did.
That's going to be like Georgia, Ukraine, Romania, all those Eastern Bloc, the Baltics,
Right.
So all those are going to be slightly different accents too. It's not all just like one, I can't think of the word, but like a monolith. There we go. Yeah.
Ooh, big words coming from Soros. All right. Well done, sir. Well done. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Another history lesson here that I'm asking you to inform me on. So the Berlin Wall, you said, didn't fall until 90. Is that correct?
89 or 90, somewhere in that ballpark. I would have to Google to be sure. I'm leaning toward 89, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
On a different note, the Soviet Union. When did Stalin die? When did the Soviet Union fall?
Stalin died in like the 50s or the 60s. But the Soviet Union lived on. You had other leaders such as, I don't know if he was a leader, but he was certainly high up there. Leonid Brezhnev. And then obviously Mikhail Gorbachev. He was the leader at the time of the fall, which, Reagan's famous speech, Mr. Gorbachev, bring down
That's the man,
wall. Yeah.
That's the man I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shows how much I know about history at all. So yeah, that's so to make it clear though, this was still very much during the USSR.
Yep. Fall of the Berlin Wall was 1989, and end of Soviet Union. I think it was 92. Before I look, am I right?
Come on, big money.
Collapse of the Soviet Union, 89 to 92. Yes. So basically, from the fall of the Berlin Wall to 92.
Damn, son, look at you.
Uh-huh.
Like you're almost like Orville Ward over there with your,
but less
history
trains.
Of trains.
Yeah.
Yeah, less trains, more Russians.
Yeah.
Good on you, man.
Like, oh, here's my 100 years of the Soviet Union video. Like,
exactly. Just tapes and tapes of the USSR and John's apartment there.
And in case we have any history buffs out there, yes, I'm aware the Soviet Union wasn't around for 100 years. We were making a joke.
Oh, I wasn't.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was established till the 20s after the Russian Revolution.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In Soviet Russia, 100 years comes before you.
It comes before you. Yeah, exactly.
Watching this movie, I just wanted to make that joke like every fucking time there was something weird going on screen,
Yeah.
Like, in Soviet Russia, you kill bullets.
Yeah. I love how they fit in the Dirty Harry Magnum revolver at the end, though, and Schwarzenegger's just handling it like a boss,
Yeah, there's so many references to, once again, like the pop culture of this time that, like, I mean, I got the Dirty Harry thing and the Magnum 44, but there's so many, like, pop culture references that Jim Belushi makes in this movie. Like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Like, what's his name? Like, the guy that they make their first bus or whatever with Larry Fishburne, not Lawrence at this time.
Yeah.
And he pulls his gun on the perp and he goes like, "You look like Marvin Hagler. I lost money on Hagler," which I'm sure is hilarious. Everyone gets that in 1988. who the fuck is Marvin Hagler?
Yeah, I think that's just the same thing of like dated references.
I mean, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise,
he's an American professional boxer.
Oh, okay. He lost, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But it says he was the undisputed champion of the middleweight division from 80 to 87. That's a pretty good run. 7-year reign as an undisputed champion. That's pretty good.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. It's a good amount of time to be a winner before you get hit in the brain and the part of the brain that forgets what legs do.
Maybe exactly when you get robbed a payday loan store, huh?
Yeah.
But that's one thing I like about older movies, older stuff, is it's like sometimes you got to look up those references and you learn new stuff,
Well, we are in your realm of novelty and expertise here, my man, because there's so many. Yeah. But before we dive even too far deep into that, which we're almost already 20 minutes in, but I think now is a good time to take an ad break and hear from our new potential sponsor, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Which, did you get the script I sent for you?
I did.
I want you to read this, or I'm sorry, our sponsor ad reader, who sounds a lot like you doing an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger, to read this for our new product that we're promoting here called Arnold Schwarzenegger's Cum Gutters.
You gotta kind of get the accent going here. All right,
Sure.
So I'm gonna try and do a good one here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Are you tired of climbing up ladders to clean those clogged house gutters? Well, fear not. Introducing Cum Gutters, the revolutionary solution to keep your home gutters clear and free flowing. I'm gonna do that line again. The revolutionary solution to keep your gutters clear and free flowing. Just as I maintain my body, Cum Gutters will maintain your house. That's right, it's me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm going to clean your gutters just like I clean out all the fat on my apex body. You're going to be fucking ripped. Do that line one more time. Thanks, Jim. All right.
Yeah.
You're going to be fucking ripped, Bennett, you son of a bitch.
Arnold, could you take the Bennett, you son of a bitch, like the historic line from your movie, The Predator?
Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah. I mean, I see. You're going to be fucking
from your there you go.
Bennett, you son of a bitch.
Perfect, Arnold. Perfect. Continue.
No more struggling with leaving debris. Now with the new and improved Cum Gutters, your gutters come to see you with the ease of 2 claps, thanks to our breakthrough mechanical science. Who is your daddy and what does he do? He breaks his back with nonsense of yesteryear. No, not anymore. Thanks to Cum Gutters, you're now just 2 claps away from having your gutters self-ejected onto your lawn, while you and your father light stogies and laugh at little girly men on ladders come gutterless. So get to the chopper and come get us our very own Cum Gutters at half off for this Memorial Day weekend. But hurry now, this is exclusive. This offer won't be back. So get to the chopper. I'm sorry, I jumped the line. Cum Gutters, because nothing beats a good pump and coming all the time. I'm so sorry, Maria. Come back to my Cum Gutters, please.
Perfect, Arnold. Perfect. Great reading, and we just got word you are canceled.
I just felt when I saw this, I felt it was really fantastic, and I felt like maybe this kind of ad spot had exactly the kind of comedy that I was wanting to offer. I didn't want just roles for my body. So I thought maybe if I did this, it would just be a fantastic job and, add to my repertoire of work.
It's like the kind of comedy that would make you feel like you're coming back for more all the time. Just has you feeling like you're coming all the time, if you will.
That's me coming. It's the best feeling in the gym. It's the pump. Oh, man.
You get so pompous about your pump, Arnold.
Yeah. Man, that was actually kind of hard, like trying to actually act that and like try to maintain. I had to like kind of move the earphones a little bit so I could hear my impression a little better.
You know what you did? I think our audience will agree. You did old Arnie justice. I think.
Thank you. I hope so. Some of the words in there, I was trying to recall like stogies. I've definitely heard him use that word enough that I'm trying to like recall like how he says it. Like
I thought you did good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you did the man proud, like his pecs. And all the pecs and tits that are in the opening scene of this film, as we mentioned earlier, man.
Okay.
It was just.
Do you think that was a body double for Arnold?
I don't think so, man.
On the basically on the ass shots.
Dude, honestly, I think just because I'm thinking of the Terminator or T2, he's got so many different movies where, actually, those are probably the only two I can think of. And this movie where he's walking around, butt ass naked. See, he's got like such a particular body.
When the first Terminator came out, he wasn't really a superstar. Like, yeah, he'd done Conan. He was up and coming, but Terminator's what made him like he's here to stay. And and so
he just looked like he was playing like another like he looked. I thought like he's just doing like his idea of what a Russian agent is, just the Terminator speaking Russian now. Because like the way he scans the room, it's very much like the Terminator, It
kind of was, and I thought a similar thing, but especially because at the time it was that very stoic Russian, no emotion. We take care of business, like kind of. So, honestly, that's actually another reason he was probably perfect for the role.
I mean, he was good. He was all right, like
maybe not perfect.
I don't. Yeah, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't watch any movie that Arnold Schwarzenegger is the lead in and think, like, well, who else can do this better than Arnold? Because the question is moot. You know what I mean? It's not like the movie is always, filmed for Arnold, regardless of what the part is. You know what I mean? It is. It's not like he's going into being, this is not a deep, dramatic retelling of historical events. And, most of the movies that I can't think of one, actually. You know what I mean? He's always being Arnold Schwarzenegger, the action star. It's not him getting lost in character.
It may not count, but he did a voiceover as a historical figure for a documentary film Ken Burns did in the 90s. That may be the closest he's gotten to that kind of thing. But, yeah.
That is, hands down. What is that from?
I'm gonna have to. It might be in an Abraham Lincoln documentary. But yeah, he was a voiceover for Obviously not Lincoln, but that would have been awesome though. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Abraham Lincoln. That would have been sweet.
Like,
a nation divided against itself cannot stand.
Yeah. Definitely threw me for a loop when you said a Ken Burns documentary. Those aren't the two pairings I would put together usually, unless it was a Ken Burns documentary about Arnold Schwarzenegger. But Ken Burns never misses with his doc, so I'm sure he found like an Austrian guy or somebody, right? The voice he was doing, it was like a German figure or something like that. Yeah.
It wasn't just like it was like Frederick Douglass, or something.
I was gonna say the same name.
Yeah. I'm looking it up now. I'm trying to remember what it was, but let's see. 90. Lincoln. Yeah. So it was John G. Nicolay, who I want to say was a German immigrant.
Yeah, he sounds German as fuck. Nicolay?
Oh, yeah. He was a German-born author who was secretary to the President of the United States at the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But yeah, so with the exception of one Ken Burns documentary,
one voiceover in a documentary,
yeah. Which I haven't seen. I'm gonna even put some money on this. I don't think you have either.
We'll put that as the Lincoln documentary.
Yeah, you haven't.
No, I haven't. I've seen Ken Burns' Civil War documentary, but never that one. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm still right. So, with the exception of this one documentary that neither of us have seen, it's mostly Arnold Schwarzenegger, the action star.
Yeah, not to digress. That was just a good time for a fun fact. But yeah, it's usually Arnold Schwarzenegger. The obviously, especially by this point, late '80s, coming to '90s, like the movies were for him. Like he's the leading man. Like, yeah,
I would say that definitely continues even to today. You know, whatever he's doing, it's always surrounded by Arnold.
True. You're seeing him take a little bit more risks on certain roles, though, like when he did Maggie a few years ago. Did you see that movie, Maggie, that he was in?
No.
It was all right. It was him and Abigail Breslin.
Okay, I remember seeing previews for that or something.
He plays a father, and I guess it's like a post-apocalyptic world. And I think she is like slowly being overtaken by like whatever zombie virus is in the movie. It's been a while. I'd have to watch it again, but it's a little bit more dramatic type role.
Okay.
You know, and from what I've read online, he did it for zero fee. He literally took it just because he loved it so much he wanted to do the project.
It was almost like coming for him.
It was. It was like the pump in the gym. So you see he's coming in the gym. He's doing movies for free. So imagine how happy he is. You know?
Yeah, we weren't in danger of being able to monetize this podcast on YouTube right now, but for sure, if we had the green light, this would for sure. The amount of times we've said "coming" and "tits" in this particular.
I don't know though. I mean, you can watch the Pumping Iron documentary on YouTube, and that's where he literally says it. So
yeah, touche. Yeah.
That'd be my argument if we had to appeal it.
Yeah, which that seems like a headache and a half, just going through that whole process of that. Back on topic, what did you think of old Jim Boy Belushi's?
I thought it was good. You know, honestly, I really enjoyed. Like, again, I'm not trying to sell this movie as like, it should have won an Oscar. You know, but I mean, for what the movie was, I thought it was well cast. We could talk about Schwarzenegger's accent all day, but like, I mean, like he definitely played a no nonsense, you know, punch or shoot first, you know, ask questions later guy, like very well. And then he did so too without having to have his heart softened by kindergartners, like one particular movie where he started out awesome and then, you know.
It's directed by Ken Burns as well, right?
Yes, Ken Burns presents Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop.
There's one right there, and it tells a documentary of like a hero cop, an Austrian immigrant, who won the hearts of an entire elementary school.
He was concerned with their daddies, and what do? Jesus Christ!
About to say that didn't sound like a dog.
No, it sounded like a DoorDash guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just the magic of Murphy's Law of anything that can go wrong will. Like, yes, there's usually some noises outside, but the moment I decide to start recording, when they all just they all huddle in masses to directly behind. Oh well.
Yeah. So back on subject here. So Belushi, I don't really. I'm trying to think of the word here, but like I thought he did. To me, it was a little different than a lot of other Belushi roles. He wasn't like, it was funny, but he wasn't as like goofy. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I thought he played it pretty real, and I actually enjoyed it. Yeah. Like, I don't think there's with the what I've already laid out about like Schwarzenegger can always just be Schwarzenegger, whatever movie he plays. So there's not any point in getting lost and like dissecting his acting in anything. I'm like attributing to a character. I thought Belushi did a great job. I thought everybody did a good job. Performing their roles. I just thought the writing. I almost felt like in the third act of the movie, like it's almost like the writers were even like, all right, well, I'm tired of writing this too. Let's just end it.
Oh yeah.
like Jim Belushi's character just does like a fucking 180 at the last minute, and you're just like, I think he even literally says, "I'm tired." You just kill him.
Yeah, there was one point in there. He was like, "I'm sick of this whole thing."
Yeah.
Well, that was what was it when he was like, "Obviously, this is some Russian stuff I don't understand."
Yeah. He might as well look directly in the camera and go like, it's already an hour and 30 in. Just do the damn thing.
It went crazy at the end, like with them being like playing chicken in the bus, Oh,
it was great. Yeah, I wrote that down too. I was like, man, Schwarzenegger screaming while playing chicken is a treat that I will forever cherish.
Dude, honestly, watching this movie half the time, like I feel like every 15 minutes, I was kind of like, hell yeah! Like, why isn't this movie bigger? Why wasn't it easier to find to be able to watch? Like, you already know how I feel about Raw Deal being an underrated Schwarzenegger film. Like, I'm gonna have to put this one in the same category as underrated. Like, why?
Yeah.
I
mean, it's I hate to keep continuously using the word bonkers, but like it is, it's in a good way. Like it's, every 15 minutes, as you say, you just kind of like, what's happening now?
Yeah.
Like this seemed to come out of left field, but let's keep going with it. All right. Like, the whole shootout, which I didn't really quite grasp why, Victor, the antagonist, like, betrays his, Elijah's, men in the hotel or whatever.
I'm still not 100% sure what they were doing together, but
I don't either, man. Like, I guess that he was there. They were protection for him, and and maybe like do like a percentage, like a cut of whatever.
Were they like helping him get it out of the country? Is that what it was?
No, because. Maybe, I don't know, because then why would he betray him last minute? Because
I felt like the betrayal basically came down to, well, he had that briefcase of money. I think he was going to blow him away, take the money, and also at that point it was kind of like Moby Dick, where like he was just overcome by his vendetta between him and Ivan, and so it would like really wasn't about anything else anymore other than just like sticking it to Ivan. Yeah.
Sure, but then wouldn't he still want them alive to help them kill Ivan? Or I'm sorry, you mean Danko?
Yeah, Schwarzenegger's character.
Yeah. Wouldn't he still want Elijah's men to help him finish the job rather than, betray him whilst they're getting ready to, when he sent them in the wrong room intentionally.
True,
and
but
where is the prostitute and they blow away her John, which when I was kind of a kid, it was like the logic of this girl of like, there's so much gunshots going around. Like, what's going on? And she chooses to follow the other guy with a gun, like, and then it's like immediately surprised again that she finds herself in more gunfire action. Yeah. Like, maybe go away from the guy shooting people.
Yeah, like just run. Like you don't need. Yeah, just run.
Yeah, just why is there so much gunfire? Here, the guy with a huge Russian pistol. I'll follow you. That'll keep me away.
Pistol, by the way.
Oh, was it? I had never seen that before. That whatever one that was issued to him in Russia.
Oh, maybe
it had like a weird.
You're talking about the hotel, right?
Yes.
That was when he was using the gun Belushi gave him, the Dirty Harry pistol.
I thought he used. I don't think he. I thought he got that confiscated after the hotel thing, and then he was given the Dirty Harry pistol.
No, the hotel was like right at the end. Remember he shot the assassin in the hospital that turned out to be.
Oh, you're right. Dude. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I swear, when you see the first scene of the nurse in there killing that guy, that's not a dude. And then when he shoots him and the wig magically falls off, I swear they switched actors. Like,
really? No, I mean, maybe it's just because we grew up watching movies. Like the trope was just like immediate. Like as soon as like Belushi was hitting on a blonde nurse that was assassinating. So I'm just like, okay, well that's clearly just because I know they're gonna land that joke where it's like Belushi's gonna be like, what? A fella?
Yeah. Oh. No, so he shoots her, and that's when dude, and Peter Boyle too. Yeah, all right. Like this movie had a good cast.
Yeah, dude.
That's when his character comes in. I need to do better at remembering character names and not just like, oh yeah, Schwarzenegger and Peter Boyle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, same here,
came in and confiscated his weapon because he was like, how did he even have a gun? I guess he was supposed to have turned that over at customs or whatever. And so that's when they go back out and he gives him that revolver out of the glove box.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why you're just keeping a 44 Magnum revolver in the glove box. It didn't
Yeah. Like, and I hate to really just keep on harping on it, but like, again, I think all the acting is great. And, with like the exception of the laughable like sound effects of people getting hit.
Oh, those
like, action sequences were great. Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of one of those things like coming from a sound guy. You see a lot of stuff like that, kind of movie tropes, and punching is another one of them that's overdone all the time. Like Indiana Jones, love those movies, but in some of those, it's literally sounds like a whip crack or something. It's like as they punch it,
Yeah. And
but it's, at the same time,
if I got hit in the face and that sound came out, I wouldn't be angry at the guy who hit me. I'd be like, never heard that sound in my life. Well, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are these magic fists?
Yeah. So, because there was one scene that I really noticed it too, where like the punches were like louder than the gunshots.
Yeah. It's just fantastic, man.
Yeah. So, but that's kind of one of those. I guess the term is hyper realistic, where it's nothing like real life. But if you watch that movie and there's not some sort of like sound when somebody gets punched, it kind of, you're like, whoa, you're expecting to hear it, even though it's not realistic. But that being said, you're absolutely right. These were a little over the top.
Yeah, which I mean, with the exception of that, I was going to say that I think the directing and the action sequences are all great. There's with the exception of like one guy who gets shot and then you don't see the squibs come out, but in the next shot they at least show like blood all over his face. The guy who's Jim Belushi's partner, I can't remember his character name either.
When he has his little like wrist gun, which apparently holds like 7 shots.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, I was gonna say, like, for the most, like, I'm just nitpicking there, but like the action sequences are great. I just think the writing in here, and I hate to use the word lazy, but I think it was just tired of like they would just set up a point to just kind of like, oh shit, I guess I gotta close. Like it just felt like it was like, and again, maybe it's at the time of like being aware of like the classic 80s action trope of like, oh, this isn't gonna work out. Like with Peter Boyle of telling Larry, now Lawrence Fishburne, that like, oh, this is a win-win situation. There's no way this is going to go wrong. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You're just talking about sending 2 renegades, which I think he almost outright says, like he's a loose cannon at one point. I was like, oh, they said it. They said the thing. Like usually you just allude to it. I think he outright called him a loose cannon. Like, oh, there's no consequences to this. And then 20 minutes later, he's like, I was wrong. There were consequences. Who could have saw that coming?
Well, it was a little more. It was like he said that at the beginning of the film, and then at the end of the film, well, not the very end, but towards the end, it was like I was very wrong about the downsides. I feel like somebody already had that line in mind, like that'd be a cool thing, and they wrote around that. I feel like that was one of those things where they already had that in mind, like how can I fit it in?
Yeah, but like the thing that he was considering the downsides were the things that he accounted for in that earlier speech of like, there's no downside. He's going to make havoc.
Yeah. And then like, oh, no, turns out not. Yeah.
Turns out he did exactly what I thought he would do. There were downsides.
Yeah.
basically, it was like exactly what I thought would happen, but now I just have a different outlook on it.
yeah. Now
like basically, like Peter Boyle. Yeah. Peter Boyle's had this whole character arc that was never seen on screen. Like he just became a changed man in the span of 40 minutes that we never saw. He changes his mind. Similar to Jim Belushi, of just like, just go ahead. just fuck all justice. Just kill it. But,
I see on here too another great point. Did it ever say what Larry, not Lawrence Fishburne's, like who he was? Was he just like the office kiss ass, or was he internal affairs? Like,
so I don't think he was in internal affairs. They never said anything about.
He seemed more like he was just kind of like, yeah, chief, whatever you said, like kind of guy.
I guess he was, from what I can gather there, because it really confused the hell out of me. I guess he was just a superior, and I don't know how the chain of command works, and like what's greater, like lieutenant, like captain versus the lieutenant versus sergeant, whatever. But like I think he was just like one rung above Jim Belushi's character, but not necessarily like, because he was writing reports on him and then giving.
He seemed like he was more office oriented. Like he wasn't really out like hitting the street and interviewing witnesses and running down bad guys. He seemed like he was more like
he was painted as more as the Poindexter of the precinct.
What's the word here? Basically, but more administrative. Like, yeah.
Except he was on that bus with Belushi or whatever. He led that bus, right? And so like that's also the other thing too of like where I just felt like he'd say again lazy writing of like what was his whole personal beef with, like it just seemed lazy that he just doesn't like Jim Belushi's attitude, like, but why would he feel like like he got a personal victory from Belushi not being on the case anymore or whatever, like, you know what I mean, like aren't they after the same fucking thing, you know what I mean, like it's just like, oh well, this, like, we need some kind of conflict here, let's just write this in with no explanation.
Oh yeah, this guy's not his friend, I forgot. So
exactly. Even though they were kind of bonding on the case being thrown out like 20 minutes earlier.
I thought, what's his name, his wife Gina Gershon dying kind of came out of nowhere.
Oh, it definitely did. Like there was so much stuff that happens in this movie that's off screen that you just like, well, I guess that's a thing now. Well, okay.
In a way, I'm going to choose to believe it this way. That could be kind of cool because it treats us, the viewer, as we're the police officers in a way of like, oh, we weren't there when it happened. Why did it? Oh, we don't know. Now it's part of, we got to figure it out. And like, yeah. I mean, technically, by the end of the movie, the case is never solved. Ivan just finally kills Victor, and all right, cool.
He's close. Literally,
back to Moscow.
5 minutes later, he's in Russia, stomping again. Yeah.
With a giant cigar. Like, in that same bathhouse. Yeah.
With another conspicuous looking partner that you think is going to be the villain of the next movie. That is the guy that he's forgetting that he's avenging.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't want to give viewers the wrong impression, but like I really enjoyed watching this. Like I don't know why I've been sleeping on it so long.
I don't want to give the impression that I hated it because I keep on harping. I love some nutty fucking films. I love, that's what draws me to it, is that there is like, well, it feels like there should be an answer for this. Nope, we're not going to get it. Oh, we're just going on to the next thing. Yeah, I guess Gina Gershon's dead. Yeah, Gina Gershon's dead. Peter Boyle and Jim Belushi are just tired of this fucking movie. Let's end it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is just to show like what we already know. Like, Victor's a bad guy. Like, so we didn't really need an explanation of that. Oh, he killed his wife or whatever. Like, okay, now I really hate this guy,
Yeah. And there was, once again, just rolling back to when we first meet Victor. Maybe it was just like I watched a version that had like bad subtitles, but what, like he said something about like one of his brothers, I guess, or whatever, like one of his guys he was in cahoots with a wooden leg was like, and he was talking to Russian Schwarzenegger. And I think he said something along the lines in the subtitles, I got his partner in the leg or something like that. And then Schwarzenegger beats his ass and tears off his wooden leg and, knows that in Soviet Russia, coke is in wooden leg.
Cocaine
unbagged, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, unbagged, just like, if someone says like he went outside, like, oh, snow. Just patted it.
I don't remember. I would have to rewatch. I don't remember the exact line, but yeah, it does seem like that kind of came sort of out of nowhere. Like, oh, he's just going to beat him up and prove that they had something like cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again, I can't get over the fact that like it's just loose cocaine in this wooden man's leg.
Yeah, it's not like bag. Yeah.
Like his nub is like. I get that they're in like cold weather in Moscow, but like at some point, I got to assume that his nub kind of sweats and like gets in the cocaine.
Yeah, and if you buy any, you have to bring your own. Like they just open it up and you like scoop some out.
Yeah,
and, like,
they measure. Yeah.
I'm just picturing a guy like now carrying it in his shirt, like, thanks, guys. Like,
thank you, comrade.
Yeah. Thank you, comrade. Yeah. This cocaine will be excellent, snorting good time. Yeah.
Yeah. We only able to sell cocaine when my brother is too tired to stand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cocaine. We only sell cocaine.
Yeah. What a nuisance for that guy, though, too. Every time he has to make a sale, he's like, all right, somebody let me hold somebody for balance. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he's not out there the one having to sell it. Hopefully he's just like the smuggler. Because that would be terrible if every like 20 minutes he was having to like, all right, here we go. And then he was like, all right, did you bring a spoon? Did you bring a scale? I don't have any of it. It's just loose. Like, know?
Yeah, no pun intended, but it just seems like they're leaving so much money and coke on the table. They're just loosely putting it in a wooden leg.
Yeah, the last customer, sorry, man, I'm out, but you can lick the inside of my leg if you'd like. There's still some on. Yeah.
We froze again.
Oh, there you are. Okay. I was about to say, well,
yeah, I froze again, so I didn't hear that. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear my joke about
you were bringing a whole new meaning to the. I just assumed it was something probably along the lines of like bringing a new meaning to Das Boot.
No, I was saying like with the loose cocaine in there, the last customer of the day, you can just be like, sorry, man, I'm out, but you can lick the inside of the leg.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, viewers, for making you hear that twice, but yeah.
No. Maybe it was worth it. It might have been worth it. We don't know.
Maybe it was funnier the second
unless they write in or unless they write in or leave us a message at Big Boys Pod Spot or at Spotify is for podcasters at Big Boys Pod Spot. We won't know for sure
what they truly think.
Yeah. It's not like we got a whole bunch of Jim Belushis walking around here and telling everyone what they think of, Chicago ladies knockers,
I wish we did.
We don't have that. Do you?
And Jim Belushi did come in. All right.
Yeah. Entertaining, but I don't know how it would really help us improve our podcast other than like, Joe Schmo thinks somebody's tits are great. Like, I don't know how that helps us.
Yeah. How's that help me? I don't know.
Yeah.
My electric bill's
good to know.
How that
yeah. Guess I'll be on the lookout if I'm ever in Muskogee.
Dude, I need to look up too. I'm glad. We covered it a second ago about Schwarzenegger's gun. And what was the first gun he had? I didn't know. I feel like that's something made up for the movie. Like, I did not recognize what that was.
I don't know. It definitely seemed like I just assumed it must have been like a Russian engineered manufactured pistol, Because like, yeah, it definitely seemed like something like that would be made over here as like a toy gun. Like it was just off enough to where like, so the parents are like, oh, this isn't a real thing. Don't be alarmed. Like it had an extended, I don't know what the proper term is. I'll just say like an extended snout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, here it is. It's a fictional gun. They mocked up a 357 Desert Eagle to look like a new gun, and it's that 9.2 millimeter, which he mentions as being the most powerful handgun. But then Jim Belushi corrects him and says, no, it's a 44 Magnum. Yeah.
Why did they mock it up though? Why do they make it like, especially if they're going to call it out for what it actually is? Like, why?
Well, no. I think that's a made up caliber. It says the Makarov, which is a real Russian handgun, is chambered in a 9.2 millimeter round, but it's certainly far from the most powerful handgun. I'll tell you that. But that's probably why they picked.
I mean, it was so distracting that it was so distracting that I felt stupid. Like it was like this. Okay, this looks so weird. This actually has to probably be a real thing. I'm just not a gun nut, so I have no idea. I've probably obviously never seen this gun before, but it's such a weird, distinct model. Like, you know, like it's almost one of those things. Like, well, it's so bizarre, it has to be real. You know?
But no, apparently not.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking space pistol from Moscow.
So basically, now that in some still pictures, I can see it a little better. It's basically a mocked up Desert Eagle. Yeah.
Just use the Desert Eagle.
Yeah, which is already pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not even using the full size one. They're using the Desert Eagle 357, not the 50 AE, you know.
Maybe they couldn't get the 50 AE, so they're like, fuck it. We'll put a little extender on it. Make it, you know.
It says the director wanted a P-38, a Walther, but bigger and meaner. A P-38 on steroids. So movie armorer Tim LaFrance built 3 guns he named the Hollywood Eagle, used the Desert Eagle 357 MK1 pistols as a base, and had to modify the profile. So basically they were trying to make it look like a giant Walther P-38.
Well, here's what's interesting about it, too, because I'm just thinking about it being 88, and he does fire it a few times, and I know they're probably blinks, but that's still that's an operating weapon, right? Because, like, he shoots it a couple times, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
and this would have been before CGI. So, yeah, now...
Exactly, like, I wasn't really paying attention that closely, but...
Now, whether or not it's capable of handling real ammo... Who knows? But it was certainly firing blanks. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like I wasn't. Of course, I didn't realize that this was a fictional gun when we were watching it. But like, I didn't pay attention. But did you see like the blast from the the chamber firing?
Yeah.
I'm probably saying all that wrong. Trying to get at
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just sound effects. Like it actually showed like the point of view of Schwarzenegger firing it, and it looked like it was like him actually firing.
Yeah.
And not just a sound effect and a cheap, like what we would use today is like, obviously some After Effects plugin to
just add something in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Wild film.
It was.
And I appreciate you enlightening me and, broadening my Schwarzenegger horizons,
No problem. Like I said, I feel like this is another underrated one. Like, like everything we said is true. It's not a perfect film, but like it does its goal. It's cool. It's fun.
I guess for me though, like it is those things, but like, I guess like for the type of film of his that I just get overexcited, like, oh, this is way, way, way crazy. Like it definitely has moments of it, but like the perfect Schwarzenegger film in my eyes is Commando, because that's just when it gets insanely nuts of like him just lifting cars and dropping.
That's what I'm saying. That's why that's a
death from holding them from a foot. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Commando's awesome, but I don't know. This one's slightly more grounded in reality, and I think that's why I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it slightly is, but it's still like not fully grounded in reality. So it's just kind of like, all right, if you're not gonna, if let's just get rid of reality, and that's like the best fucking Schwarzenegger film when he's just chopping logs and like just holding a whole fucking tree.
yeah.
That's my Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
that's the one I want to see. You know, that makes me want to get to the chopper to watch Commando.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We could go on a huge tangent here about Schwarzenegger's library and independent opinions about each one individually, so on and so forth. But
so maybe this was a good one. This is decent.
Yeah, and I'm always glad to shine light on a lesser known one. I haven't seen this one in years. The last time I saw it, and I don't even think I saw it in its entirety. It was just on TV years ago.
You know, if we found ourselves at odds here, you know, I would have to find my way of saying that, you know, you were right. This was a good watchable Schwarzenegger film. It's almost as if like I got served, you know, which is going to be similar to the feeling that I feel like you're going to have after I serve you our next film that we're going to watch next time, called "You Got Served." Have you seen this fine film, John?
No, because that definitely does not seem like the kind of thing I would have watched when I remember when it came out.
But you gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a rare treat. It's a good one.
All right.
Yes, sir. And if I'm not mistaken, I mean, it's been a minute, but it's you get to see Wayne Brady in a more dramatic role. So this is if it's what I'm thinking of. I could be totally wrong. Or is it Wayne Brady, or is it Steve Harvey? Steve Harvey, maybe. Yeah. Anyways, we'll find out.
We'll save that surprise for next episode. So, viewers, we are serving you up our episode on Red Heat. That wasn't as funny as I'd hoped. But
you got served heat that was red. Not really a movie title you can make too many jokes with.
It was Red Heat.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
All right.
Anything else you wanted to contribute?
No, I think my opinions on Red Heat are well known now. So.
Yeah. It's almost like a raw deal.
Clever.
Well, how about that for a second serving of the Season 3, dear listener? Yes, we had ourselves a enigmatic time watching the effervescent Red Heat. If you ask me to describe what effervescent or enigmatic mean at this moment, I would not be able to do so. But I'm 65% sure I used them in some correct way or another. Nevertheless, we enjoyed ourselves watching old Jimothy Belushi and Arnie Schwarzenegger go toe-to-toe, head-to-head, chest to chest, if you will. Figuring out who's the tougher cop, who's the looser of the cannons. You know, who's the cop that gets it done better? Chicago PD or a Russian Soviet Union era government official? To be honest, as I mentioned earlier throughout this episode, I'm quite ignorant in all things Russia, but most importantly, the varying degrees of which they have officers. And this movie did little to inform me. For all I could tell, it's just one type of government official for all of Soviet Union. It's just the same guy that can, punch you in the face and take the coke right out of your wooden leg might also be delivering you mail. I suspect that's perhaps not how it went then, or even more so now, but how could I know? I do wish that the filmmakers taught me more about what it meant for Arnold Schwarzenegger, the oh-so-believable Russian. What it was like for him being a Russian in America, rather than just the tropes of him being a giant buff fish out of water. Because honestly, everything that they were, presenting towards his character was just really, playing up the Arnold Schwarzenegger Austrian out of water, and then applying that, basically just, exchanging Austrian for Russian, and then it's, my point being is that it wasn't really a huge character leap for the man, unfortunately. I would like to see, something that made him believable as Russian, other than his haircut. Which, to be honest, I gotta assume there's a Austrian or two today that rocks that flat top. Hey man, those tops, flat or not, those styles of haircuts, they come and they go, alright? For all I know, they could be in right now. Whether you're watching this the day that it airs, or hey, maybe 300 years in the future and it's still on the internet. Maybe flat tops are in again. So, anyways, Jim Belushi. I feel like that guy catches a lot of flack because, unfortunately, he ain't no John. But it ain't like he tries to be either, It's gotta be hard for a little brother to try, outshine the rock star older brother's shadow. Shadows shine. Anyways, his older brother, John Belushi, cast a huge shadow, and then, just about when you couldn't think his shadow could get any huger, the man just ups and kicks the bucket, which, tragic, obviously, no doubt. But he also got a feel for Jim, because, yes, his brother was a renowned comedian and movie star, but now he's almost a martyr for comedy. How the hell can you compete with that? I certainly couldn't. So I feel for Jim Belushi. And you know what? I'm gonna say it right now. I know I'm gonna lose whatever negative cool points I already had. Growing up watching According to Jim with my dad, great memories. And the actor who plays his best friend in that show, Andy, phenomenal, hilarious guy as well. That guy should be in more things. And it sucks that I don't even know his actual name, but hilarious blonde, thick fellow. I should go back and watch According to Jim, and see what he accords, because, you know what? I suspect it might actually, be a better nostalgia watch than when I decided to go back and watch all that and Good Burger. Though I still am a fan of Kenan Thompson, the actor. I am not so much a fan of Brian Hickey's movie taste buds when he was 7 to 11 years old. All trash. Hog water. It's as if Nickelodeon was producing things for children. And like an adult watching it would find it unbearable. I mean, what were they thinking? Once again, we hope you enjoyed tuning in to this episode with us. And we hope you stick along for the ride, as next week we will be showing You Got Served. And I don't even mean legally, though I do think it is possible that if Omarion or Marcus Houston were to hit you with a dance move so hard, I think that is the equivalent of notifying you that you have to show up for court. So be aware of that. Whether you get served with legal documents or a sweet sick-ass dance move, you better follow up on that, because let me tell you, the courts don't play. And in closing, as always, I'd like to say, Como se llama hermana? Lo siento, Palapinto. Good night, all my North Texans. And sweet, sweet, sweetest of dreams, my fellow Angelinos. This has been another episode of The Big Boys Podcast.
Big Boys is a podcast produced by Not So Funny or Proud Productions. The team consists of co-hosts, co-producers, and co-editors Brian Hickey and John Sorrells, better known as John the Great. For more information about the duo or this show, please visit us at bigboyspodspot.com, or feel free to take a gander at our production page, notsofunnyorproud.com. Look us up on social media and follow us at Big Boys Podspot. New episodes drop every Thursday on every popular podcast hosting platform known to man. So please be sure to like, subscribe, vibe, describe, contrive, confide, collide, abide, preside, tell your tribe, and most importantly, do prescribe. Me and Elixir for talking out the side of my neck.